sailing all my life now. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I fly the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue home. To the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on. Breathe the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
We still have a minute. And are we ready? Huh? But I'm looking at the clock. It's a little early, but yay. Everybody got so quiet. Welcome, friends gathered in the sanctuary on Zoom and later on our YouTube channel. It is so good to be together. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Franklin, to the Smoky Mountains of western North Carolina and northeast Georgia, and to the ancestral home of the Cherokee people. We are a lay-led congregation of progressive minds and caring connections. My name is Jill Ellern, and I'm delighted to be your service leader this morning. We extend a warm welcome for those who may be visiting us today for the first time or returning after a while. We're so glad that you're with us and look forward to getting to know you better. There's an opportunity to introduce yourself later in the service, and we hope that you will sign up for our newsletter in the guest book in the foyer. As we gather each Sunday, please we take a moment to greet each other on Zoom and here in the sanctuary, affectionately known as the Zoomies and the Roomies. Roomies, please rise in body or spirit for our wave hello, and stay standing for our gathering song. It's above the door, right to your right, and at the monitor as we say, yeah, the monitor, you see people? Say hello to our Zoomies. And now our gathering song. Song 1, 2, 3.
Do sign language symbols to go with it.
Spirit of love, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow with the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, speak, set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the air, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, speak, set me free. Spirit of love, come to me, come to me.
Kind of okay with that. Yay.
You have to do it twice. And someday soon, we are going to get back to learning the Spanish version.
Yes, ma'am. Please be seated. This simple act of connection reminds us that despite our distances, we are all part of this loving community. Church-related announcements. Warren, Ben, Edgar, Penny on Zoom, and Claire on the YouTube. We want to thank them for their service. Thank you, thank you. Greeter, I saw Bill Hodge. Thank you. Hospitality, Dana, Jeff, Karen, Elise. Yep, excellent. That they will be there. It's going to be potluck, so all of us as well. Please help. And on Zoom, is there any fellowship announcements? I was informed on my Facebook post that a friend had gone to a women's dance in Asheville, and at least out of the 50 people who showed up, at least 9 or 10 of them came down with COVID. So I want to remind you that COVID is still in the air. So I was surprised because we don't think about that anymore. But if you're in big groups, you might want to think about that. We encourage folks to keep all healthy using the supplies in the foyer. If you're worried, joining us on Zoom if you're not feeling well. A reminder that we request anyone testing positive or significantly exposed to talk to our president, Jude Lowry. Please keep up to date with our items by checking the UU View, our web page, and the bulletin board downstairs in Celebration Hall. And I was thinking on the way here, how many of you have been here more than 10 years? Have a raise of hands? I was thinking that we could all say this together even. Our fellowship is a light for liberal religion in the mountains that values the diversity and the richness that it gives to our community. Our celebrations of diversity are reflected in the variety of our Sunday services. In addition to different topics, our service sequence and length sometimes varies. Today's service will enrich your journey of discovery. Our celebration of diversity is reflected in not only who we are, but in many of the sources that nurture the Unitarian Universalist spiritual life. Wisdom from the world's religions, insight from science, teachings of nature, and the poetry of the human spirit. Today we welcome Reverend Kate Greyson, who will help us explore listening to our inner voices. my chalice lighting. Judith didn't come with us this morning, but would you want to light? Okay. We light this chalice in honor of the voice within, the one that whispers when we are afraid, that steadies us when we cannot see the path ahead, that reminds us again and again that we belong to something larger than ourselves. May this flame be that reminder that burns in us, burns also in one another, and together we will never be without the light. Our opening words are, there is a voice within us that has never been silent, that speaks beneath the noise of daily life, beneath the fear, beneath the doubt, beneath the endless lists of what must be done. It speaks when we are very young, before we even learn to question it. It speaks still, patient, persistent, quietly insistent. This morning we gather to listen not to our louder voices, but to our truest ones, not the ones not to be told what to believe, but to remember what we already are. Come, let us begin. Our first hymn today is One More Step as the opening hymn.
One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us, and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
That's a nice waltz too, buddy. Reverend Dr. Kate Greyson is a retired communications professor. She received her doctorate from the University of New Mexico in 2007, her practitioner license in 2015, ordained by the Science of the Mind Ministry in 2017, and received her Firewalker instructor training in 2020. She attended the Science of Mind Centers for over 40 years. She's been teaching classes at CSLA, what's that? Oh, okay, since 2015, and is a frequent speaker on the New Thought Centers in Western North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Please join me in welcoming her with the service, The Paths of Fear, Faith, and Mysticism, following our inner voice.
Good morning. And hello out there to the Zoomies. It feels loud. That's better. Maybe it's just my new hearing aids. It's great. I'm just in my head, evidently. So, we live, as was said earlier, in a world of inner spirituality and mysticism. For years, I have quoted Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, as stating, "We live, move, and have our being in spirit," which is a lovely phrase. I thought he was speaking figuratively, and that it was a summary kind of Science of Mind, but in fact, it's a quote directly from the Bible, Acts 17:28. And this was never clarified for me. Not by Reverend Patrick from the United Centers of Science of Mind in Albuquerque back 40 years ago, not by my ministers in Reno, Nevada, not by my ministers in Austin, Texas, not by my ministers in Asheville. And they all quote that we live, move, and have our being in spirit. And I thought it was vicariously attributed to Ernest Holmes. Now, for my part, I'm a bit embarrassed as an academic to say that I never researched it for myself. So for 40 years, I've attributed that quote to Ernest Holmes. And I don't know why it makes me sad, but it does. Especially as an academic, as a researcher of language and communication. I just accepted what was told to me, what I heard. I read a quote recently by Susan Bucher. She runs a blog, it's called Religion Reimagined, which can be quite insightful. She says this: "We want spiritual depth without material sacrifice. We want ancient wisdom without cultural context. We want transformation without discomfort. We want to feel enlightened without actually changing our lives." Well, that was me, quite honestly. Her quote reminded me of the old story of the blind man and the elephant. Many of you might know this story. Long ago, 6 old men lived in a village in India, and each was born blind. And since the blind men could not see the world for themselves, they had to imagine many of its wonders. And they listened carefully to the stories of travelers to learn about the world and the life outside of the village. The men were curious about many of the stories that they heard, but they were most curious about the stories regarding elephants. So it was arranged for the blind men to meet an elephant, which they did, each in their own way. While they waited to go home, the 6 men talked about the elephant. "Oh, an elephant is like a wall," said the first blind man, who touched its sides. "Surely we can agree on that." "A wall? The elephant is like a giant snake," said the second blind man, who examined the trunk. "It's a spear, I tell you," said the third blind man, who was raised up to feel the tusks of the elephant. The fourth man, who rubbed his hands on the legs, said, "I am certain it is a giant cow." The man who had been raised up to feel the ears claimed, "It's a magic carpet. It's soft and it's floppy, but it's sturdy and it's strong." "Don't you see?" pleaded the 6th man. He said, "It's a rope. They're trying to trick us," as he held the tail and felt its coarseness. "Wall, snake, cow, spear, carpet, rope." They started shouting and arguing with each other, and then there was this loud voice that said, "Stop shouting," called a very angry voice. "How can each of you be so certain that you are right?" I think that's a parable that's very reflective of our culture right now. The blind man and the elephant story dates back to 500 BC and is thought to have its origins in ancient India. And the story illustrates that subjective experience only offers a partial truth. We highlight the need for broader perspectives and collaboration to grasp the complex realities, but without further exploration and not collaboratively sharing what we know, we all only see one aspect, not the entire animal. So the parable is obviously a metaphor for our own lives. We are so much more than a spindly tail, a chunky leg, or a rough body. As we know, the elephant represents strength, wisdom, loyalty, history, memories, and stability. And their symbolism just goes on and on. Many faiths revere the elephant for prosperity, for patience, for the ability to overcome obstacles. If we slow down and collaborate and communicate, we can see all of the body, we can see the totality of being. And it's as important to recognize the intersectionality of race, class, gender, and politics. As the parts of an elephant, if we think about all of these things as the part of the elephant and not make assumptions about those things, or the individuals, or the circumstances we may find ourselves in the words of Joel Goldsmith, where you stand is on sacred ground. What we forget is that the concept of the sacred has to be combined with the whole and with a blend of what Thich Nhat Hanh has said to be formed of the head, the heart, and our hands. Or as in Acts from the Bible, in me, as me, and through me. To walk the path of a mystic, we need to make a decision to show up. We need to make a decision to show up for life exactly as it is, all of it. And many of us continue to live in fear, fear of lack, fear of being hurt, fear of loss. And when these things happen to us, and they will, we will experience broken dreams, shattered lives, hits to our self-esteem, poverty. And instead of dwelling on the brokenness, try to lean into it, as Mark Nepo says. Lean into it and explore these multiple situations that we find ourselves in, not only with fear in the front of our brain, but with a genuine curiosity about what this incident may mean to you. Be open to discussing and to sharing your thoughts and feelings with others. Then move to your heart and allow those feelings to be present, to seep into and through your body and guide you into knowing what needs to be done. Head, heart, and hands, all of you, the whole of you. If you stand on a plot of sacred ground, so too does everyone else. Even if you don't understand their behaviors or their intentions or their language, be clear of your own. Because if you are standing on sacred ground and have entered into that realm, then you are on the path of the mystic already. We are ordinary mystics. I believe that the mystic is one who listens to the inner voice and allows that inner voice to guide them into situations and circumstances which allow and reveal the treasures within you. We are stronger than we think. Each person, each situation, each horrifying experience, each loving experience, there is no limit to the examples that are brought into our lives for us to learn from. If you open yourself with your head, your heart, and your hands, you are on a path of mystic awareness. As Mirabai Starr states in her book, Ordinary Mysticism, and as others have stated before her, many people, Wayne Teasdale, Joel Goldsmith, Ernest Holmes, the Fillmores, the writers of the Bible, the path of the mystic is to show up. It is to be present. It is to have a voice. It is to lean into what is happening and to recognize each experience for what it is. And sometimes even more difficult, to recognize the sacredness of life as it happens to you, within you, and as you. I really started, this has been a difficult talk for me to prepare, and I really started it back in December of last year, on December 1st, which is World AIDS Day. And like many of us, I lost many people in my life during that time. I worked in the field, I took meals, I cleaned homes, I drove people to appointments, I sat with them and I held their hands, but I didn't learn at that time from that experience. I was just sad and angry. I was so angry all the time. As I reflect on those experiences now, all those years ago, I see incredible amounts of mysticism and spiritual strength from those individuals. I see men, women, and children who looked at me with love, appreciation, fear, shame, anger, and guilt, as well as this incredible sense of happiness and joy throughout all of those months of their suffering. And still it breaks my heart, because I know, we all know, how cruel our private and our public worlds can be to us. See, here's the thing about that and other issues I was involved with at the time. I was this radical feminist, always. Well, I still am, honestly. But I still am. But I'm not near as angry now. Not near. Maybe that's just age and maturity. I'm not sure. But I needed that fear and that sadness and anger to fuel me into the work that I felt needed to be done. And I didn't see that work as sacred, not then, but I do now. I do now. And a few years ago on Thanksgiving Day, I collapsed on one of the Bent Creek trails. I was hiking with a friend before we went to dinner, a Thanksgiving dinner at a friend's house who lived close by, and I believed I was having a heart attack. There was no phone signal where we were, so my friend left me because we were pretty far off the main trails to find someone with a phone that had a signal and to call emergency response. So I was slightly off trail, laying by the creek, and I had passed out, and I came to all alone, hearing the water of the creek, and I looked up and around, initially wondering where I was, and then I started to see and feel this intense inner peace. I was not having a near-death experience. I wasn't near dying. I just want to say that. But everything was hazy and vibrating and shining through the fog. Everything had one rhythm, and the vibration was so strong, I could feel it through the ground. I could see it emanating in the water and from the trees and from the leaves. And even the water really was rippling with one heartbeat as it went down the creek. And as I lay there, I knew intensely that I was alive. And just at that moment, the EMTs arrived, and everything changed, and that unifying heartbeat stopped, and everything became brisk and brusque, and they moved me onto a stretcher and carried me down the trail to an ambulance and off to Mission Hospital, where I was until late that night. And I was going through all the tests, and they couldn't find anything. They decided I had a sticky valve. And they wanted to do some exploring, but I declined. And I went home. But that sticky valve is a metaphor for me. In many ways. It was how I was living my life. I get stuck in the fragments. I hear about the war in Iran, and my mind goes like this. I hear about Minneapolis, which is my home state and one of my hometowns, and I get caught in Facebook videos from my friends and my family. I hear about something else, and the war in Ukraine, and I get stuck in that. I'm still a little bit stuck in the devastation from Helene. I get caught in the fragments. I don't believe I was living my whole life, and I was not living my whole life at that time with my whole heart. I was not living my life within the whole picture, and I was not living my life in love. Though I didn't fully realize it at that time, I'm a slow learner, as you're finding out. It was a turning point. The fear of what would happen to me and to my friends and to my things, all of those things came to the surface like many people experience in their lives. But once I felt the fear and I really understood it, I understood it spiritually and physically, I realized that I was part of the mysticism in the world around me. I was one with it, as you are. Now my motto is collaborative non-cooperation. I see what's happening in the world, I think about it, and I research it so I can understand it. I explore how it feels to me, what it brings up in me, and I discuss those things. The sadness, the fear, the anxiety, and the angst, and I let those feelings wash over me. And then I think, what can I do? I can't solve the world's problems. I can't solve my friends' problems. I can't solve your problems, but I can lay my hands on my problems. I can do something about my frustration, my anger, and my angst. I can do something. Recognizing that I am a sacred individual standing on sacred ground, and what I touch, what I think about, and what I feel is also sacred. All of me, our divine presence in life, everything we do touches everyone else. Every word we speak touches someone else. Every time we hug someone, it touches someone else. Every time we smile at someone else, that smile vibrates out rhythmically to everyone in that area. And then they smile, and then that smile continues on and on and on. Deep in our hearts, deep in your hearts, we all know that this is true. We are told this time and time again, and yet we retreat into our little cocoons that we have built for ourselves. And I invite you to step out of those little conclaves of safety, look your fears in the face, talk to someone, and do something. Head, heart, and hands. Understand what it is and what you can do. Look at what is broken, the trunk, the legs, the tail, and the body, and put it together into a whole. Because as long as it is fragmented, you cannot see the whole picture. And once we see the whole picture, it's easier to recognize the sacredness of life. It's easier to recognize the sacredness of the pain that is emanating through parts of our lives. And then it's easier to recognize the happiness that we can feel within us. It can be scary to leave the safe environment, but God does not promise we will not suffer. God, as Spirit, promises and lives within us as a light to move through the suffering, to move through the problem, to come out on the other side, and to find yourself stronger, more loving, more compassionate, and more sacred. This is what being a mystic is, finding the love and the presence of Spirit in the depth of life. A former teacher of mine, Reverend Christy Corna, when confronted with some inane statement or behavior, she would look at you and go, huh, and then she wouldn't say anything. And and she did that with me quite often during my practitioner training. I would say something and she'd go, huh, and then walk away, and I'd be like, ah. But she also talked about what she called backing up the bus. Backing up the bus. And what I understood when she said backing up the bus was to take that bus load of all those little me's, all those little fears, all those things I'm so certain that I'm right about, and stop moving forward until I took a good look at myself and knew where I stood on this sacred ground. Look at my beliefs, look at my behaviors, look at my life. Take a good look at me. Where am I coming from? That's what backing up the bus means. And when those situations happen, what strengths do I have right now to push me forward? What beauty is in the world right now? Is there something in our despair that can motivate us to dig deeper? Can we see the light of the divine within each and every person and circumstances, within each tail, each trunk, and each leg, and in each rough-sided body to see the entirety at once? That is being a mystic. That is the experience that allows us to recognize that overwhelming rhythmic possibility that resonates within each and every one of us. Because we are sacred beings on a mystical path. There is no duality in life. There is no duality in this talk. In fact, coming to the point of non-duality is the point, and I believe it is the essence of mysticism, to see the whole, not only as one side or the other. The elephant in the room is rough and gentle, it's fierce and kind, it's strange and at the same time familiar, and perhaps a bit shocking to those who have not experienced their presence. But those contingencies or fragments of understanding do not create duality, they create a whole. And the same is true with each individual here and everywhere out there. You are whole and holy. When we bring the fragments together to understand and see the whole picture at once, then we can begin to see how a few who may have power over continue to attempt in creating a dualistic culture and fragmentation of our souls. Real spiritual transformation requires ethical commitment, community accountability, and the willingness to be changed in uncomfortable ways. It cannot be purchased, it cannot be optimized, it cannot be achieved by buying the right products or following the right guru. And I urge you, do not lapse into fragmentation. It's where we lose our power. Recognize the fragment, understand it, feel it, then what? Do something. It's like a puzzle. Put it together, recognize it, understand it, feel it, talk to others, and then put it together like a puzzle until you see the whole picture. And that's where the light of our lives shine through. That's when we become those agents of change in love. Each of us here has felt a stirring in our souls. I know we have. Over the course of our lives, this stirring, perhaps a general sense of unease, is what has kept us going. Though we may not have realized it at the time, like me working with the AIDS epidemic, it is what has brought us here today, this morning. It's what keeps us going. Wayne Teasdale wrote in The Mystic Heart, once touched, even for a brief moment, we are changed forever. Our inner life is transformed by that deifying radiance of the transcendent ground from which everything arises, into which everything returns. We live in a world of inner spirituality and mysticism. Explore it, feel it, act in it. Head, heart, and hands. Be fearless. Each of us is a mystic. All of us stand on sacred ground. Thank you.
Thank you, Kate. I debated whether to mention this. When you told the story about the elephant?
About what?
The elephant?
Yes.
Not sure if it adds to it, but how do you eat an elephant?
How
An elephant. One bite at a time. Have you not heard that? So I was wondering as I was listening to it.
I take no responsibility. This has reached beyond me.
That would be good too, but sad.
It's sad. For the elephant especially. It seems like we have a lot of elephant metaphors, having never seen one. Anyway, I'm sorry, I digress. Our words of gratitude, sometimes the inner voice doesn't whisper comfort, sometimes it's a call to action. It is a voice that tells us we cannot be whole while our neighbors are hurting. As we share our resources today with this congregation, we are answering that call. We are turning our inner guidance into outer blessings by supporting our work, ensuring that our spiritual life here in the fellowship isn't a private experience, but a public one committed to love. Please join me now in the dedication of our gifts. Gifts given in love and hope, continual cycle of love and hope. So may it be. Thank you for your support. All financial gifts are welcome. There's an offering plate at the sanctuary entrance. There are self-addressed stamped envelopes that you can use to send it through the mail. Donations are also welcome electronically, including a PayPal link on our webpage and the UU View. There's also a celebration jar here and a basket for coffee donations downstairs in Celebration Hall. A pebble cast into a pond causes ripples that spread in all directions. So now we open our hearts to one another. If you carry a joy, a celebration, a piece of good news, let us rejoice with you. If you carry a concern, a grief, a worry, a pain, let us share your burden. If you would like, you're welcome to share a brief, special joy or concern here, and I'll drop a pebble in the water. Let's begin with those on Zoom, followed by those in the sanctuary. The last one for the final pebble was remember those who have spoken, those that we have named, and those that have held the silence in their heart. We're going to have a moment of silence here. We now, you can choose to meditate, pray, reflect on something that you heard here today, or simply sit silently in the community with others. I'll bring you back with the chimes. Our closing hymn, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our
Good going. I hear voices. The quietest whisper of our inner guidance carries the most power. When we truly listen, align ourselves with our sacred pulse of all life, we carry this alignment with us. Let your presence be a blessing, your words be a balm, and your life be a testament to the mystical truth that we are intimately woven together. Listen to your voice. Listen to that voice. Follow the heart. Trust the ripple. As we extinguish this flame, let us not extinguish the light of our inner guidance. Go forth now and remember. Do you want to put the video up? No? Okay. That your sacred tuning fork in the world, it needs your song. That the sacred tuning fork in the world needs your song. May you walk with awareness that each word you speak and every breath you take vibrates outward, touching the hearts we may never meet and healing corners of the world we may never see. Live with intention, lead with the heart, trust the ripple. Following the service, those on Zoom are invited to continue their conversation. Kate, would you stop by the tech group and see if anybody would like to see and talk to you? We invite everyone else to social time downstairs in the potluck. Next week's service is about exploring the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence and the beginnings of the American Revolution with John DeVille. Sorry, I hope that we see you downstairs for potluck. Please rise in body and spirits. Those in the sanctuary may choose to hold hands.